Hi, we're going to talk today about home buying negotiating. You know, people tend to think that the only thing happening in a home purchase is we just talk about price. But, you know, I think maybe it's a good idea to be a little bit more prepared for that. When you decide it's time to buy a home, there are negotiations, and there's probably quite a few more than you realize or expect. So buying a home is a really big deal. For most people, it's the biggest thing, the most expensive thing they buy. It's their biggest asset. It represents so much from an emotional standpoint as well. So, you know, it'd be great if we just submitted an offer and the seller said, sure, I'll take it, thank you very much. But oftentimes there are things in the contract that they want to counter out, and it could be silly things or what seemingly unimportant things, but they are important to have them outlined clearly in the contract, because as you go along, you don't want to be trying to wing it or figure things out or not know who's responsible for what or what benefits, what do I get to keep, things like that. So you can negotiate many different things. Some things that can be negotiated include like repairs. So I can't imagine really advising someone not to get a home inspection. And sometimes you can say, I'll buy the house as is, but I would still get the home inspection, because you never know if there's a health and safety item. My best example is if the sewer line's leaking under the house and you have a raised foundation, that's something that you're going to expect to get fixed. And I think most sellers would agree with that. So repairs, closing costs, furniture and appliances. You know, we have a new purchase agreement coming out this month, and one of the biggest changes in it is all the things people keep. How about a Ring doorbell? Does the seller keep that, take it with them when they move? How about video cameras? You know, there's more and more things that come into question, and so the contract is getting more and more specific with each of those things, because if we don't check one of those things, what is the answer? So right now with the purchase agreement contract, I can tell you Ring doorbells aren't part of it. If we want it to be part of it, we have to write it in. So it's important to know that. So repairs, furniture, appliances, the purchase price, obviously, closing costs. You know, there's all kinds of closing costs that come with the sale of a home. When it's a buyer's market, oftentimes, especially buyers that don't have large down payments, they'll ask for help with their closing costs. This market today, that's probably not going to be very successful, because to get offers accepted, you have to be very strong. But it's something that can happen. Closing date, when do you want to close? Typically it's 30 days, but sometimes it might not just be the closing date, it's when do I get possession. So for example, if I'm buying a house from Ella, and Ella needs to get the money from that proceeds so that then she can buy her next house, well then she's going to need a little wiggle room. Typically we give 3 days for her to get out. So it's important, if you know somebody lives in a house and you make an offer, you probably want to give them time to get out if they need it. You certainly want to clarify that up front. And then you have contingencies, right? We all know we have investigation, appraisal, and loan contingencies. An investigation is a lot more than just a home inspection. You know, it's also insurability. You know, insurability is getting to be tougher and tougher and tougher these days with fire hardening, wildfire, liquefaction, flood zones, earthquake. It's becoming more complicated. So preliminary title report. So anyway, you want to make sure that you can get insurance for the house before you remove that contingency. It can jump up and bite you in the butt. And then earnest money deposit. I typically tell people 2%. It works most of the time. Some places it's 3%. As far as I'm concerned, if you're offering less than that as an earnest money deposit, kind of a sign that you're not that strong or not that serious about the house. It is part of your down payment. It's not an additional cost. If you're 5% down, a portion of that is your earnest money deposit. And then personal property, you know, like I was talking about the Ring doorbells. There could be furniture, you know, like a bathroom mirror, for example. Bathroom mirrors that aren't attached to the wall, like with mastic or something like that, or some, you know, formidable attachment, if they're just hanging on a nail, they technically don't stay with the house. And it's a bummer when you go to brush your teeth in your new house and you don't have a mirror. And then, so the bottom line is there are a lot of things to negotiate, and you get offers and counter offers, and those are all part of some of the smaller details, but they can matter to you a lot. So keep in mind what you can afford, keep in mind what really matters, and don't get frustrated. Everyone's just trying to do their best to put a deal together, and we all have, you know, seller has a seller's perspective, buyers have a buyer's perspective, and You know, seller always thinks they could have got another dollar, and the buyer always thinks they spent a dollar more than they needed to. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd encourage you to look me up on YouTube and find any number. I've probably done hundreds of videos, so go check them out.